Okay,
Or phone a friend and ride to school with a friend.
exactly.
Use a resource. What's elementary school start?
Good
They
morning.
start like at
It's just like, we
8
had a meeting. Have you
something.
been?
They go early and get out
At 9.
earlier. They flip-flopped it, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago.
That would have been better.
There's these studies that show
Oh,
that
As somebody who was there the first year they did
teenage,
it, I don't care what the studies show. The studies can shush.
yeah,
It was terrible. Going
Yes.
from 9 a.m. to 4, I was there the first year they did it. I was
Yeah.
a sophomore. I hated it. I was
Yeah.
like, do you know how little I'm getting done now?
Yeah.
Because it's
Oh.
9 to 4, like any appointments I had to get taken out of school. Like I missed so
Yeah.
much
Oh,
more.
I didn't
Yeah.
think
Nothing
about
open
that.
early
And
nothing open that late.
the high school kids that used to pick up the elementary kids
Can't
and
do
keep
it.
them, they couldn't do that anymore. So
Yeah,
it was like a
that's true.
babysitting nightmare.
Oh, that's
for
right,
parents.
because the little kids are out by like
2:50 or
3,
by 3 at the
yeah.
latest, yeah.
it's crazy.
I lost hours at work because I had to leave at 3:30 instead of 3:30.
Yeah.
Can you all hear me? I see lots of squares, but not lots of Carrie. You're the only face that I see. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Denise, you're nodding. Kendra Keelan or Knight, whatever your name is now, you are just your picture, which is a little bit freaky because I keep looking at it thinking that you're a real person and you're just a picture. Okay. It's okay because everyone that's on here, none of them are teachers, so it's all good. We're good. I'm gonna see, do you think mine might reach?
Musical chairs a little bit.
If not, I may have to change the chairs.
You just untangle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not plugged in.
What's it say? Conference is the password?
Yes.
Word conference.
You can come and sit in my chair if you want. Don't be scared.
You can sit by me. I promise I'm not gonna bite this morning. I've already got my.
Okay, so Emma's sending me. I can then share. Yeep. And I should have enough power. As long as you guys can hear me. Yes, Denise says yes. Carrie says no. Those system resources may affect my audio quality. Try closing some applications. I didn't know applications were open, but I shall close them nonetheless. Still saying that. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Denise, still not good?
No, I can hear you okay. You were jumbled there for a bit, but whatever you did there for a bit ago, it fixed it.
Yay. Okay. Well, so I believe that we are, what do you call it? Up and ready to go. I believe we're being recorded. So these recordings love me too, because I'm a little bit terrified of what all I've said in the last 2 weeks. Most of you have been with me, so you may know that it's not great all the time. Thank you guys. I'm sorry. I just had the realization we were 1 block away, and I said to Emily, I don't think I told the world that we wouldn't be on until 9:30. Oops. So sorry, world. I told the teachers that were coming, but we didn't change the time of the Zoom starting. So I need to apologize. And then those of you out there in La La Land, we didn't do, I had a niece I had to get to school this morning, and I'm not used to being the drop-off parent. So we dropped her off, and but her school doesn't start until 9, so I couldn't drop her off until about 8:15. 45 minutes was the total length of time that she could possibly be sitting there alone. She's a little, whatever. So we are here to talk about farm tech and we have, Emily just sent me some documents that we're going to use today. So I'm going to open my email, and our IT may get even worse for a second while I look for that email. Not seeing it.
Is Emily printing off a copy for us?
Uh,
see?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Is
about
it the
that.
therapeutic services? Is it this book? Is it out of that?
No, I don't know what that book is.
It's like the list of all of the courses under pharmacy tech and all of that.
No, let me, so I apologize for wasting everyone's time. We do have, let's make sure that she sends it to me. She may be trying to get logged in as well. So, and she has an equally slow computer because she works with me. So, let's see here. Let me find it. Okay. Can you? She may not let it go.
Can you just run downstairs?
Nope, I'm just gonna call her.
Okay.
I didn't even think to, I just figured everyone would bring their own stuff. Hey, would you send me that document? Yeah, that's, I figured we're struggling too. So I just, I need to just show them what's out there, but I don't have, yeah. And I just realized that if I'm on a computer and it's not up on a screen, then they can't see it. So and I didn't bring copies. So. Okay, bye. I think we should try and log into their internet. What do you think we should do?
Let me go get
I got
David.
their, I got their login. I mean, I logged into that.
Right.
Yeah,
mean,
I
guess
just mean computers. Yeah, if we could.
I got a computer. Let me just join in on this thing.
Oh, that's an option too. Except for you.
I can share. You can share. I'll share.
Okay. And my plan actually was to be able to do more of this. And so I apologize that, but she's trying to get logged in.
Oh, I guess I could join in on the Zoom too. I wonder if it, how,
You know what? I gotta get out of here.
how hard it's gonna be for the.
Just kidding, Chris.
I don't know what that is, so.
Down here to the.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have her email yet. Okay, so everyone who's out there, just so you know, we're waiting. Emily is sending me the documents. I'll put them up on the screen. We'll see what all of the current course offerings are from each school. And so while we're waiting on that, I'll just go ahead and kind of explain a little bit about this process for those of you that are new to the game. So I was under the impression when we started all of this, which was about a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, that we were going to have every program that has a single SIP and SOC code would have one number for that program. So one number of curriculum hours. This is our challenge with pharmacy, is we have, how many in here are accredited programs? Okay, so we don't have any accredited programs, so that changes whether or not we have to stay within the accrediting body number. So since we don't have any accredited programs, and that typically would be for an adult only, that is by, is it APTA? Who there is a farm tech that they do accreditation.
ASHG.
Thank you, ASHP. Sorry, I don't know the
All the
right
acronyms.
names. Yeah,
I know.
I mean,
I don't either.
I'm like yesterday we had physical therapy and occupational therapy, and it's just lots of TAs, PTAs, ATAs, blah, 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 A's. So, but we don't have these accrediting, since
This
we,
meeting is being recorded.
since we don't have the accrediting bodies, then we're going to have to come up with a common number. I will create a common course list for career tech, okay? How many of you have adults in your program? Okay, how many of you offer federal financial aid for your program? Okay, okay, so that is where things kind of get sticky because there are some, not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, if we're offering financial aid, then whatever number we set is,
My audio's off now.
okay. Oh,
There, no.
okay, is that better? Okay, good. Oh my gosh, I look over here and she can see my face. It's not good, people. It is. It is a Wednesday, holy
Turn it
cow.
this way.
Okay, that's better. Thank you.
So it
Thank
doesn't-
you.
doesn't give
Okay,
you
yeah.
that.
Oh, I don't like looking at myself. So what we're going to need to do is to come up with, and so it's a game we play. And I say that not, I can feel, I know that makes everyone uncomfortable when you say those words, but we all know that that's what's needed, right? Is it's going to have to be 600 hours so it qualifies. There are some programs that are, they do farm tech as one of many areas that they're teaching. And in those situations, I see Pioneer is on, and I can't remember who the other schools are that offer it. High Plains, I believe, offers it. Hi. Oh, did we decide that we're okay? What do you still want to try and,
I'm good with this.
are you good?
Yeah.
Sorry, you had to climb the stairs for nothing.
With my steps in.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So, with those programs, sometimes they have adults and sometimes they have high school. When you have a high school program, and those of you who have high school students in your program, the challenge is whatever we offer for adults, that in the hours, it has to be the same number of hours for our high school students. And therein lies the rub, because if we have 600 hours, we don't have high school students physically for 600 hours many times, unless our program makes adjustments for that. And I know that's what's happened. I know Tulsa Tech for many years has had an adult program and a high school program of, let's just say, medical assisting. And we've had to adjust it so that when the feds look at the hour count, they're not going, oh, why is the high school one 75 hours less than the adult one? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So whatever we do, and there are ways to set up a program. So, oh, see, look, we switched and now you have to sit like that.
That's okay.
Here, we can move this table
It's
this way.
perfectly fine.
No, it's not.
You're gonna see yourself.
That's okay. I'm just gonna
She's gonna
focus
put
like
blinders
this.
on.
I just realized that she's having to sit with her computer on her lap. So, okay, that's much better. Because she switched me places so I could have a plug-in, and now she needs one. Is it Monday? So our plan, so you can see kind of where we have challenges. There are, I believe, and we may, I may have to pull something up and look real quick. We may have more than one SIP and SOC code, meaning that's the key here, is we can only do one template for each SIP and SOC code. So SIP and SOC codes are what the federal government ties an occupation to. I mean, that is the designated occupation. And there's two different lists, and we just have to make sure that I can't do farm tech and farm tech for adults. Does that make sense? Because they would have the same SIP and SOC code. I need to look really quickly at our website, and let's see. Actually, it might just be easier if I did this and this. And let me go back here and let me open up that. And then we'll share in just a second. I'm going to go out to the Career Tech website. If you want to go yourself, okcareertech.org. And once you're on there, I'm going to go to the health site. It's slowly going. And under health. So under health science, you're going to choose instructional framework over on the left-hand side, okay?
It doesn't like it when all of us go to it.
No. So you don't have to. I'm getting ready to pull it up for everyone, okay? Okay, so now let me share. I can feel the excitement in the room. I promise it's going to get better. Okay, so now I'm sharing, and what you all should be able to see from here is it looks like a giant Excel document, and I'm pretty sure that pharmacy is towards maybe the back page because they were in
Mine falls out.
alphabetical order.
There it went. Oh,
Okay.
now it's going. It just like stopped.
Okay, so I have two codes here for pharmacy services. So the state program name, I don't know, I hope everyone can see. I've got it, my little cursors going round and round on these two. Are you able to see
I
that?
am.
Yep.
I got it.
Okay, you're able to see that. Okay, so the one at the top you can see is a 525-hour one that is pharmacy aid, and this may be how we have to set it up. The key here is there's different SOC codes. So the nice thing is because I have different codes, I can do this. If I had only one code, we would all have to be alike. Does this make sense to everyone? So it sounds like, it looks like we're going to have to set up one that is a 600-hour, and it is going to have to be different from I'm going to do air quotes, the high school program, okay, which is going to be pharmacy aid. Does that make sense? So they will have different names in my framework. I don't care what you all call them at your schools, but if that makes sense, that's really the only way we're going to be able to keep this where we can have two separate things, and it will keep your high school students from having to have a 600-hour program. Is that what? Now I'm going to stop talking, and I'd like to hear from people. I'd like for you all to talk to me for a couple minutes and tell me what you think about that.
So would they be two separate programs?
In my framework for you, what you do at your schools, it's yes and no. You and I both know they would still sit for the same test, right? But I think that and that's where it gets tricky. we would set up two separate ones, so my high school students didn't have to do 600 hours. The easy way to do it for me is we just call everyone a farm tech. We set up one template and everybody does 600 hours. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, that's what I do now.
Okay.
They just get extra, that 75 hours is done in clinicals.
And I'm pretty sure that's how Tulsa Tech has done it in the past. I mean, with other program areas, I'm sorry, is that 75 hours has been post graduation or not graduated, post common class time, 75 hours in the month that you're still there, that they still have to get that turned in and so on. Okay, so yeah, that's a Central Tech says, we don't care, one's fine with us. I know you don't care.
Right, because right now we've changed,
Is yours all adult?
no. I mean, we're both, but we've changed our class times to
Mhm.
allow for extra time this year.
Okay.
And the state board is counting the transportation time for our high school students. So
Oh,
that's-
okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Transportation time, what do you mean by that?
So my high school students leave 20 minutes earlier than my adult students. And so we're counting the time that they're being transported from my school back to their high school still as curriculum time, seat time.
Okay, because we have to do extra, like they have to leave extra early technically because they're going back to drum ride or
Mhm.
same,
Mhm.
kind of the same
It
thing.
is the same thing, yeah.
So we could maybe do that same thing as well.
Yeah.
When you say the board, so you're saying is you guys need to help me with the state board, because we're not there today. But I like,
I'm at
sorry, I printed off.
State not board, State Department of Education.
Okay,
They've worked out this transportation seat time thing supposedly. This is way higher than
yeah,
my
okay.
clearance, you know. I'm way down there in the West Wing where I don't know anything, but the way it was explained to me is,
You can count that as,
yes, the
Seat
State
time.
Department of Education is counting that.
Okay,
so we can count transportation hours.
we probably need to confirm that with each district's RAO, correct? Your regional accreditation officer from the State Department of Education. Jill Nerio, you're smiling. I don't know what that means.
She's typing and trying to, maybe she's trying to figure that out.
Oh, okay, so
I just think transportation in general is an interesting topic on people counting that and some people not. So the consistency across the state is interesting to me.
huh, okay. So you've heard of this before, that some schools are getting transportation time and maybe some aren't? Or is it because they haven't asked or because they just aren't?
Well, Laura, this is Carrie. I'll pop in. That may have been a
Cool.
rhetorical question. I don't know. But I will say that at least for Tulsa, our program is 525. We do have a mixed cohort. We have adults in high school, but we're now not offering a 600-hour program for adults. So they're not getting financial aid. So it's
Okay.
the high school adult. They're in there together and it's 525. And we do not. We do not do any instructional transportation time
Okay,
for the record, well, if anyone cares.
okay, no, I do care because we have to know all these things to be able to make good decisions.
Yeah, mine and hers are both 600 hours and they
Okay.
can have financial aid in ours. So mine, at least my adults have to have that 75 hours on record, showing how they made that 75 hours up. So they have additional seat time that they show, or they have additional clinical hours.
Okay,
That's what mine do.
right,
My high schoolers don't necessarily have to show that as much. Now, we do that between the times that we go on field trips, and then they have additional clinical hours. But if I can use transportation hours, that will make a difference too.
Okay,
So,
so, Tulsa Tech, so you guys are at 525. Does, I mean, when you hear, I know in the past you've split up your medical assisting and dental assisting, so they were able to have 600 hours and be able, and I know you now do your high school the same. Okay, for medical assisting and dental assisting. What happens to you if we say 600 hours?
Well, I think we have to look at that. I can't say for sure. I know that, we're in a 525 calendar, because our instructors are 10-month instructors. And
Yes,
so we can teach from that, traditional schedule, August to May, which gives us that 525 calendar.
right,
We have done 600 hours in a 525 calendar before and done the extra 75 hours outside of class, just like some other colleagues are
Right.
talking. We've
Yeah.
done that before. There was
with this area, with Farm Tech before?
well, it not necessarily, but with a lot of programs across the district. And then,
Right.
a decision was made to move a lot of those to 525. So,
Right.
so I don't know. I think we would have to put our heads together with our bosses and see what that would look like. I mean, we've done it before, absolutely. So that precedent is there, but this would be the first mixed cohort so far that would be at 600, and our other mixed cohorts would not be at 600. So so far, and we have a long way to go in these framework meetings. So I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't done medical office or dental
Right.
yet.
Right.
And those two are that dang Emily, she has scheduled to be out of town on those days where I have to do the medical assisting by myself. And that's the only one I'm afraid of, because
Well,
we are all over the board. But
Yeah.
it's this exact same issue. Is adults and high school in the same, we've always want to be everything to everyone.
mhm.
And that's always a challenge.
I have
So
a
It is.
question.
Sure.
It is. And well, let me just say really quickly, that when we get to medical assisting, just to put
Mhm.
that back in your ear, that's where we have two separate programs. We have the
Right.
medical assisting and then the medical assisting with phlebotomy that our adults take. So we have split that one up. It's not like
Right.
farm. So I'm done.
Okay. Because you have two different cohorts. Right. Okay. Go ahead.
So there is like in the programs that you can offer, do you do just pharmacy tech or do you do advanced pharmacy tech?
It used to be called advanced pharmacy tech.
I can just
Yes,
hang on
yeah.
just a second and I can tell you that answer.
Okay.
What is on your screen right now?
You,
Oh, good. I did a stop share. Okay. I wanted to make sure I'd stop
Well,
share.
you had stopped sharing on the Zoom, but
Perfect. No, that's great.
I had pulled this up.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on just a second. And I'm going to see if Emily was able to send that document to me. And there. Because she has done, I just don't want you all to miss out on the work that she has done here. So, okay, now I go back to share. Isn't it fun? I don't know why I become this really goofy, I don't know what to do next person when I'm on Zoom, but it kind of, and I'm also getting to use my laptop, which I don't do well with this little, what's this thing called? The finger,
the
the
mouse
mouse.
pad.
Yeah, I'm an old person and I like my real mouse out to the side, but it's Bluetoothed into my other keyboard at work, so it doesn't work. So, okay, so I'm going to pull this document all the way up. So she has put everyone's classes. This is from this year's framework. Okay, this is what each school has been approved for. So here's Central Tech and the courses and so on that they've been
That we
approved
do,
for.
yeah.
Yes. And down here is Pioneer. So they have 690, but that also includes core, A&P, CPR, first aid, and med term. So theirs is more of an introduction to pharmacy. You know, you can see by the hours here, we've got 60, 15, 30, and so on. So
I
it's,
took some of those and put them together.
yeah, and that's completely fine. And then, let's see,
'Cause that's what
Limley,
Donna told me to do.
Yeah, whatever they tell you.
That's what my
So,
boss's boss said.
so it looks like we have Limley is here with, and Owasso, the same. Surgical procedures 1 and 2.
Sterile procedures.
Yes, farm tech and sterile procedures, sorry, 1 and 2. And then, let's see, we have High Plains. So High Plains, you can see they also do a core, A&P, med term, et cetera. And then they have some of the smaller course offerings. So you can see by 825 that this is something that would be offered, it looks like, both the first and the second year or all in 1 year for an adult, if that's, does that make sense? They would, that's why I'm guessing the hours are similar, you know, what they are. And then Meridian, we have you here, and yours,
It's
you
similar
have,
to
yeah,
mine.
yeah, very similar. So, and yours is at 600.
So the difference like between mine and High Plains is that core. It's
Yes,
that
because they
200
do core.
The health science.
Yeah, the health science core, which is communication, safety,
Yes.
legal, ethical, all those things. And then we have in the pharmacy, we've broken them also out into for the farm tech
Mhm.
classes, or they are also covered more specifically there. So this could be like, let's just say High Plains could be a first year, second year kind of thing for a high school student, or it could be an adult student who comes in and everyone takes the same thing first and then they come, because prerequisites, I'm pretty sure Tulsa Tech, you guys can, people can come in as a senior and not have had core, correct? Okay, and do you have high school students that have already had core, or do you do it as part of your,
They've already had core
okay,
and they,
So that's a prereq.
yeah. And they're in, that's where we are with everyone, you know, because it's like,
it's kind
well,
of
on
a
these
prereq,
people,
but
yeah.
most of my students come from either my medical front office class, or they come from our health careers class, which both of those classes teach the core. So they come, they're filtered into the pharmacy tech class from those two seats.
Okay, so I'm pulling this back. This is the first page of the that Emily put together. So this is what we have currently in the framework, is 600 hours, and all under state program, pharmacy services, pharmacy technician. And you can see here's the differences in hours. So we have everyone's right there side by side, and then down, she's also put together the list of courses that all of the programs have used. So it could be anyone, you see what I'm saying?
Anywhere,
It could be this, you might have this course, but you might not, like Tulsa Techs with their procedures 1 and 2 with those being large classes or large numbers of hours, this seems strange to me. Because I know that your 1 and 2 were more than 120 hours, weren't
It's
they?
like 243 and
Yeah.
Right, so I don't know
Yeah.
why that's not shown.
Darrell Products and Hospital, those aren't 120 either, so somewhere it's.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah, so,
So some of those are a little off.
well, this may be what, I don't know what it is. I'm guessing that these all, that not everyone is having the same hours for any of those anyway, so. And I don't really, I don't really care what we end up doing. I do want to make sure that we have,
If they need to have the core, is that something that we want to have in there is core?
Well, we don't have core at our school currently. We're not teaching that as core in any of our health programs.
Okay. Personally, I think the anatomy and physiology, I would like to see come out. Just because,
We took ours out.
just because it does not necessarily,
you don't have to know A&P to be
you
farm tech.
don't have
right?
to know A&P to be a farm tech, and
Mhm.
it really takes my day away. It takes 45 minutes out of my day every day.
Right,
And so that,
That's why
if
took
we
it out.
were going to take something out, that would be my suggestion is for those, that to drop.
okay.
But if we,
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead, Carrie.
Sorry, I don't know when to jump in. Can I take us back for just a minute before we get deep into the courses?
Of course.
Because I
Yeah.
wrote something down, but then I might be confused. Did you say that the pharmacy aid with the SOC code of 90319095, it's at 525? Did you say that would be available for those adult or for those high school programs still as a template in CTIMS?
Yeah, that is what I said. I think that I'm sorry, I'm looking for that document now. There it is. I need to, I guess if I've got these two different ones on here, I don't know what the actual SOC codes are for 319095 and 292052. But if I have those two that are different, I can set it up two different frameworks, and I am completely fine with doing that. And no one has to, we don't have to rock anyone's world.
Okay, well, that was my question. Even though we do have mixed cohort, we have the majority of our cohorts are high school. We do have a smattering of adults each year, but it's small. So, so that was my question, is that would really probably be where we would land.
Right. With the one that's on there is 525. So I want to have, so this is, yeah. If I do something for your adults and it's 600, that makes my adult people happy, right? Now, Kendra,
Yes.
it's not going to be the whole kit and caboodle. It's not going to include, I don't know what yours was. We just had it pulled up a second ago, but yeah, I saw that you just, I saw your real face for a minute now. So the other face that wasn't you, but is you, is now gone. It looks like, I know you guys have some adult and some high school, and that's why it's over the 600 hours, is because of the adults, right?
Right, because of financial aid.
Right. So, so I'm fine with doing farm tech at 600. And this again is only, this is not your marketing name. This is not anything except just what I will have as your option for students. And then I would have a pharmacy, I believe it's called clerk or aide.
It was
It says
pharmacy
aide.
aid.
Is it aide? Is it?
319095 is pharmacy aides.
Thank you. So.
292052 is pharmacy technicians.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, that'll be the difference. Now, I do need to talk about hours for the high school. You guys have got it to 5:25. I also have a lot of schools that are talking about fewer hours. And so, and I know your other occupational areas are talking about like business and IT. He's got all of them at 480 or 960. That's it. He's not doing, any, oh, well, your specials, so we'll do this number of hours. He's like, nope, not gonna do it.
Well, there's
so that's
one office
way
admin
smarter than
assistant,
me.
they're gonna do a 600.
Right,
The
well, and
only
part of,
one.
well, and part of that is because it's like well, I don't know, is it the healthcare administrative assistant, the front
Uh-huh.
office?
No,
No,
it's
okay.
just office or,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just.
So
front
they
office.
don't have the, their SIP and SOC codes, I guess, may not be as limiting as some of my, I don't know why, it doesn't matter. But, so some of our other things, they're looking at 480 hours. What does it really take to teach a pharmacy aide, a high school student, pharmacy?
Are you talking
Yeah.
about what does it really take?
Yeah,
If you have A&P in it, it takes the
525.
525 or 600, it takes
It
those
takes a lot,
hours.
Yeah.
Okay,
It takes all those hours.
I'm
to
just
teach
writing
that.
notes to myself, okay? So A&P, if it's included,
Especially if they're taking that and converting it into a science credit at their high school.
is,
It definitely takes it then.
okay, so let's talk about that. Is that,
Because mine
Is
is,
that-
that's what mine is.
Right.
They are converting that into a science credit. for
so it's a
them at
big
the-
deal.
It's a big deal for them.
So if we drop that, if we dropped A&P out of there, what's your administration gonna think of that?
They're gonna,
Not
they're
like
not gonna,
that.
well, they're gonna be okay with it because it's a senior only class and they can get it
Okay.
as a junior.
Okay, that was what so
Yeah, so
you-
they're fine with it.
you
because-
are offering it on your campus as a junior.
Yes,
So the student who comes to you as a senior, the caveat would be you won't be getting a science class.
yes, you
Okay.
just won't be getting that science course.
Okay,
As a senior. They
Right.
can all, if they're coming to us as a junior and they're in the medical, they're getting it as a junior.
Okay.
All my medical classes as juniors take that.
okay,
If they come as a senior, they just won't have that option
Okay.
with pharmacy tech.
so they do have an option to be able to get A&P, and I really like that. That makes me much happier because we've spent years trying to make this, trying to make trying to be able to offer to be able to offer science credit to our students.
Right,
So
it's not gonna
okay.
take it away from them
completely,
completely.
okay,
It's just gonna be that if,
out of this
as a
program.
as a senior coming into pharmacy tech, you have to have already had it.
Okay. And Tulsa Tech's already got it out of their 525, so they don't include anatomy and physiology in
You can have a
theirs.
student start as a senior and
Mhm.
have no anatomy.
Mhm.
How do you feel about that?
I would love that, but
Is it, well,
I mean.
And they don't
it's-
need it to be a pharmacy
They
tech.
don't need it.
that's what I want to know.
That's
And
the
if you
main
don't
thing.
want, that's my question to
Mhm.
you. If they don't need it, then do we need to teach it? I mean, dental has said the same thing. we're dental assisting, we do head and mouth anatomy and physiology, but why do we need everything else? Well, I would fight about body systems and all that stuff. And I love to look at the whole career pathway. Yes, I'm a pharm tech today, but I want to be a pharmacist. And do you need to know the inner workings, of how body systems work together?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say like a intro to anatomy, just a basic covering of a body system as we go into the pharmacology where we
Right.
get a little more in depth
Mhm.
would suffice.
And that's kind
Yes.
of what we do. We
Right.
just go,
Okay.
we just hit the surface of it. We just don't go in depth.
So
But
like
because
you
you're
might be
looking at it,
talking
it's like
about
what we-
diabetic medications when you
Yeah,
you
as
talk
we
a
talk
little bit
about the
about.
systems,
the
you
bodies.
talk about as we go through the medications,
Right.
you talk about the systems
This
and
is
how
what
it
this
affects
medication
it.
affects.
We just don't go into the whole.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't have to learn.
It's
don't
all
more of
need
these
a
that. It's
things.
physiology
just a-
thing
yeah.
than this is a digestive medication. This is your digestive system. If you
Yeah.
take this with this is why it causes your stomach to
Yes.
have problems
Yes.
or
Mhm.
things like that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They don't need to know the ribosomal, like.
Agreed.
They
Yeah,
don't need to
RNA,
know-
DNA,
they
yeah.
don't- yeah.
Yeah.
They don't need to know the 26 bones and they don't, or the 206 bones.
Yeah.
And they don't need to
I was like
know.
26.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
206,
talk
yeah.
about you teaching this.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
You've been doing
Listen
it
to
a long
what she
time.
means, not what she said.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
know.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I get you.
Well, and all my students go, what did I just say?
I know. Wait, will you fact check me on that? I don't know what I
It's
just
just
said.
a test to see if you're listening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did that yesterday and they go, what? And I go, what did I say? I go,
So Kendra, will you talk to me about how your students are set up and what was your number?
Our number is 690.
Okay, okay, so talk to me, you do core med term, A&P, CPR first aid, and then you do it sounds like about another 200-300 hours of pharmacy stuff.
Right.
What's
We
it gonna do? Yeah,
Well,
ahead.
ours is only offered to our seniors or adults. So
Okay.
they get the core the first year, they get A&P the first year, med term, and then CPR. They all do that before they actually start. So ours is a semester the second year.
Okay. Gotcha.
And if we have an adult that comes in, they are here an extended period to do A&P so that they qualify
Okay.
for financial aid. 'Cause
Do
the-
you want them to, how do you feel about removing A&P? You're about removing it, it's still part of your core, which
Yeah.
you would do the first year, which is, I'm saying if I remove it from the pharmacy courses, the plan of study for pharmacy, how do you feel about that?
I think the only issue would be with our adults because they wouldn't have enough hours to get financial aid.
well, if you remove it from the basic of pharmacy tech, hers
They'd
has
still
an
get it the first year,
additional,
yeah.
she could put that in the additional that she does besides the basic. Because just like mine, I have more than what you require in the basic of the 525 or the 600. You can add that back and forth however you want.
So here's my question. If we take anatomy and physiology, my two programs that do 600 hours, if we take A&P out, would you change how some of those other courses, because you would lose 120 hours out of there. So now you have 120 hours to fill. What would you do to fill that?
We would have
Make
to
it 600
probably,
again?
yeah, we'd probably have to extend some of the others. Now, does everybody else do med term?
I do. Yes, I do.
Tulsa Tech says no.
And I do the pharmacy technology. I would add some to that with the medications. I would add hours to the medications which is your pharmacy terminology. And I would add some to the core terminology. Because that's I mean, they need to know what diseases, when they call in, they say, I'm taking it for this, and they don't have a clue what that means. I would add some to that. I would add some to, let me look at my,
So M, to bring you up to speed, we're talking about having two separate things like we do now in our framework. We have pharmacy aid and pharmacy tech. And pharmacy tech would be 600 hours so that we could fit it for adults. Tulsa Tech already doesn't do A&P in theirs. So we're talking to the 600 hour programs right now. What would you do with that 120 hours if it wasn't part of your framework of instruction?
Did you get the document emailed to you?
Uh,
I emailed the document.
Yes,
Okay.
we've had it up and showing it to everybody. Yes, thank you very much.
The signal in there was-
Yes, no. I would have been texting you. Are you kidding?
Well, I was like,
Yeah. It's okay.
I'm thinking I would add it to the medical terminology, the pharmacological terminology, calculations, and compounding. Those are the four that calculations for sure, because they struggle on those. And then the compounding, just to give them more practice, doing the different things to using the calculations in their compounding. And then the certification prep.
Okay.
Those hours would be the places I would put them.
How many hours do you do for prep?
I don't know what mine says.
Oh, I can pull it up.
I
I'm
have
sorry.
no idea what my I could pull it up.
Here.
Mine is 30.
So what do I say?
Okay.
What does my paper say? I do way more than that, but I'm over there on the
Yeah,
first one.
I'm scooching.
Certificate 30. So there's only 30 hours of prep. I would do way more than that if I could. I mean, technically
You mean
prep.
the certification preparation? Is that what you're
Yes.
talking about? Okay.
Yes, it says 30 hours, but they need way more than that.
What company are you using for testing for?
I use Paradigm. Right?
For
No,
for
you-
national
that's your
testing,
textbook. That's your
Yeah.
textbook.
PTCB.
What?
Which is the PTCB. It's
Oh,
the
okay, yeah.
national assessment. It's
Because
good
I
any
don't
way
pass
they
that
would
very
go.
well.
students do either or. the
Yeah.
NHA or through the EXCPT or the PTCE.
Yeah, I do both, either one. If they're really wanting to go on and do pharmacy tech, I use the PTCB. If they're just,
Hanging out in your classroom.
yeah, hanging out, I do the
The one
EC
through NHA.
yeah, NHA. Because they don't really care, and most people don't recognize that one as much. They don't.
Yeah.
Or if they're going on into some other field and they're just doing this to learn the drugs, like if they're going on into nursing, then I'll do the NHA for them, because they really don't care about getting it, but they want it to be able to learn the drugs and stuff.
Okay. So what you said, you use the same NHA and
The bulk of my
PTCB.
curriculum is through NHA.
Okay.
So I have more students test through that.
Okay.
All the surrounding states recognize both of those tests now. I don't necessarily think that they get paid equally additional pay for passing either one of them.
Okay.
So I don't think, in my opinion, it really matters which one that you use.
Okay. So
I think the PTCE has a little more hospital usage. So if they've done, I
So
think the
if they
NHA is
wanna go
more
to
retail
hospital.
oriented. So, and most of mine, they go out to clinicals, they see more retail. So they
right.
feel a little more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So I have more that test probably with NHA.
Okay.
In our hospitals,
in Tulsa, like PTCB.
Right. So
So
what,
we do PCCB.
you do both? No, you do PTCB. Okay,
I mean, we have both listed that I could take, but we PTCB.
okay. So,
Does that answer your question, Kendra?
Yes, our kids almost never pass the PTCB. They just don't.
okay.
So,
And I would say I don't have a lot of students that necessarily test either because they have to drive to go take it. We do not have a testing center in Stillwater unless they do the virtual thing.
If
But-
you do the virtual thing, it is really,
It's a pain and I
really
don't do it at my
hard.
school. They have to set it all up on their own. So I think that really kind of hinders a lot of my students from even testing is the fear of driving to Oklahoma City or Tulsa.
Oh, that is terrifying.
If you'll set it up, if you have them set it up
Sarcasm.
and do it in your office and like cover.
I don't have an office.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I set it up and do it and cover all the windows and they kind of can do it. And if
Yeah.
you have someplace that's like that, you can do it that way. And they usually will be okay with that.
Okay, so, I need to ask, okay, this is, yes, a little off topic, but I need to talk about what the requirements are in the state currently and what kind of our goal is to get to. I printed off all the Farm Tech rules and regs from the pharmacy board, Oklahoma Pharmacy Board last night. So I have all those. But I thought you guys could just read it to me, so I don't have to know. Right now, the way I understand, you are not required to have a certification of either organization to be a pharmacy tech in the state of Oklahoma.
Correct. That's correct.
You do, however, have to have I'm going to use the term license.
That is correct.
And that can only be issued by the Farm Tech Board after some paperwork is signed with I'm going to say a facilitating or a industry partner, right? Has to be a pharmacist. So someone has to, so
You have to
they have to be employed, right?
Yes.
And they won't sign the paperwork unless you're employed as a pharmacist. Okay.
Using
And-
90 days training.
Or
You
Farm
have to
Tech, I'm
have
sorry.
Completed the.
They're 90
the-
days training.
Yes, they're part one of the training.
Okay, so they're double dipping on the training because they're having to do both, right? They're having to do, we have students in our class that we're training those same things, those same concepts that once they go out and are employed, they're having to take those same things over again, right? What'd you just say, 90?
It's not
Now-
really the same thing again. It's usually their system, learning
Their
their system,
yeah,
and
their
their policies.
and all that
They
stuff,
don't
yeah.
get the drug, they don't get all that
It's-
information.
It's up to
Okay.
each
Just-
pharmacy to design their own
Own
training
program.
program.
Mhm.
the
That's-
pharmacist determines their training.
Yes.
Yeah,
So if they have someone that's already had that, their training is going to focus more on their individual software program and their policies, not so much what we've already been training them. They'll just
So
test on that.
we really don't know that the 90 hours is
90 days.
90
days.
days,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, that the 90 days is consistent in any way, shape or form, because it doesn't matter, then no one's going out and evaluating those programs.
They just have to have proof
That's
that they've
correct.
done this training.
Correct.
But it doesn't matter
It's not
what
like
it is.
someone goes and
Right.
looks at the school, like the Farm Tech Board goes and looks at the school and says, let me see what,
Yes, are
I'm
you
sorry,
meeting these
Walgreens, are you
objectives?
doing
Right.
these
Yes,
things, right?
yes.
Okay, right, so what is I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I took the class,
Uh-huh,
okay, and me taking the class, I turned 18 in May.
uh-huh.
I didn't have to do my 90 days. My pharmacist gave me my test, signed it for the board, I passed it, and
And your test was based on their curriculum.
the test is by the state board. Yeah, the state board gives you.
They have a
test.
law test, but a
Yeah.
lot of pharmacies will do a test to show that for their training records.
Yes,
That
that
you-
you can, you know all this stuff.
Because they have to have some
Sure.
sort of record
I think
of
that's
training.
smart.
So I got certified quicker because I already had the training from the class.
Oh,
like,
it
my
did.
pharmacist
Yes, it
was-
does speed up. It just speeds up at Walgreens.
You have a maximum of 90 days, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
To
that
To
get
get
that
it- to
done.
get it
You
done.
can get it done in less.
Okay, I got it.
But I was a cashier in
Mhm.
November.
And in
but-
December, you were a farm tech?
No, because I wasn't 18 yet.
Oh,
but-
okay.
But I did like all of my onboarding,
Uh-huh.
so all of the company policies and procedures,
Uh-huh.
and then right when I graduated, my class turned 18, I got my license.
Okay, gotcha. So what is our goal? And I do think this ties into curriculum, so please hang with me for a couple minutes. This is where I'm going with it. I need to make sure that what is separate from curriculum and what is our goal that we would like to see happen with, because sometimes how we set this up and approach the board with it, that might make a difference in how, but your goal for going to see the Farm Tech Board today was, I know this one was just to get them used to our faces. Got it.
Presence that,
Presence
And
at a
for us
board
to see
meeting.
how state board, how they run
Works.
their meetings.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'd like to
So
see one.
after, what are you wanting from the state board? I think I know, but I want you to tell me.
we would like the ability for our students to do hands-on training.
Without having to be employed at a pharmacy. If you can
Yes.
show that you have a training facility, a pharmacy in your own
We want
school,
them-
your
An extra-
laboratory.
If we want them to show, if we can show that they are enrolled in our pharmacy tech program,
Okay,
a pharmacy tech program, that they can go in and do a student externship
License.
and
Yes.
have a license, even
We
a
think that's probably
student
the best way to
license.
get that done is with an
Right.
externship license.
Other states
I
do it
don't
like
care
Texas.
how they do it, if they allow our students to do it without
Right.
having to do this license,
That
I'm
would be
good with that
nice.
too.
Yes, if they can just do a student externship in the pharmacies where they can actually, like a nursing
Mhm,
clinical. They
yes.
can go in and work under the supervision of a licensed tech pharmacist and actually do the work
Okay, so not be employed by the pharmacy.
and
Right.
not be employed. They're under their student externship.
Okay. So that's the difference, is we don't want them to still have that additional hurdle of going out and finding because we're still teaching everything. They go out, they're getting a super prepared student
Mhm.
that they really don't need to train.
Mhm.
So give us credit for what we're
Mhm.
doing,
Mhm.
because you don't need to do this with our students.
Every
Right.
pharmacist wants this. There's not a
Yeah.
single pharmacist that will not sign something saying they want our students to have hands-on
Okay.
because it benefits both them.
But
and
they
our
want our
students.
students they want the lab work recognized that is taking place.
Mhm.
When you say student externship, does that mean not just, so I don't want to pigeonhole us with lab. I know we learn our stuff in lab and we can practice in lab, but you're also saying you still want them to go out to a retail or to a hospital pharmacy,
Yes.
but you don't want them to have to be employed. That's really
Right,
the
that's
key.
the basic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so currently if they go, they're job shadowing.
They're just
Oh.
standing
Yeah, they
there.
just.
Oh,
stand
they
there
won't let
and
them do
watch.
anything.
No, they
will
can't do
not
anything.
touch anything.
So we've got 100 hours of them sitting there staring at a pharmacist and a pharmacist tech.
When they already know how to do probably as much as
Yeah.
the
As
people that
someone
are
that they
hired.
hired off the street.
Right,
Yes.
okay. So I guess everyone, did everyone else here know that but me? Okay, so I just wanted to. That's
Currently,
okay.
They cannot touch anything.
Okay, frankly, it's all about me anyway, so as long as I know what's
It's
going
floor
on.
So that's what we're asking them to do. All we're asking them really to do is change that statement of paid employee to paid employee or student intern
With
or
externship or
extern.
something.
Externship, student.
And they could make money
Trainee.
off of the students having to buy an externship license.
So,
I
okay,
know, that's why we thought.
okay,
Yeah.
talk to me.
Mhm.
If if that was put in place. You're
Yes.
saying, so you're saying there would be two licenses, one for farm techs,
Uh-huh.
one would be for just the externship
Yes,
component,
yes.
and the other would be for the people who are getting it.
That are actually employed.
employed.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it could even turn into,
Yes.
I mean, they could even make it a, you know, that if they have the externship, it could be that once they pass the
Supersedes
test,
the
it
other
could
thing,
go into the main license. I mean, they could do it however they want to, but it could be a trainee.
And
training
other states
license.
have this.
Right,
Like
right, right, right,
Texas does it. It's a 1 year externship, 1 year period. That's it. It ends. You don't get another one. It's
Okay.
a one and done. And I think it's like $20.
So don't screw up.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you can't keep going to pharmacy tech
Yeah,
schools
just
and go around and
bouncing
just be,
around.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a one and done, 1 year license, and it's, I think, a $10 fee or $20 fee. I
And
can't
so
remember.
it would apply, like, so if they went to more than one pharmacy,
Yeah, it
Which
still
would be
covers it.
great.
You're
it would be.
still,
So
yeah.
like
Do you guys
pharmacy
currently-
students.
Oh, you can't currently do that, because if you send them to a pharmacy, they have to be employed there.
No, you can send them, they're just
They
job
just,
watching.
they just,
They just
Oh, they
are
just stand
supposed
there.
to be shadowing.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
But like currently a pharmacy student,
Mhm.
they get an internship license and that works while they're in pharmacy school. And that way they can
Mhm.
take it with them at any pharmacy that they go to.
Okay, gotcha.
So we want them to do that for the tech students.
Sure, okay.
Just like they do.
Well,
the
this
pharmacy students.
seems easy peasy. I don't know why they're not doing it.
Their pushback was, one, I was the only school that asked for it, even though I mentioned the other schools.
Uh-huh.
Two, they get 90 days on the job training. Our turnover in our state is so high because the training is not where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because
But their
the-
pushback was, they get 90 days on the job. Why do they need to take your course? But that's not
Because
how
what
pharmacists
what
do it.
happens is they go into the pharmacy, the pharmacist says, learn this. Good luck.
Yeah,
Here's drive-through.
right, yeah, drive-through's
Yeah,
fine.
here's
Especially
drive-through.
at Tiger.
And that's why we have
at
such high
5
turnover
o'clock.
after 2 weeks. They
Yeah.
don't even last 2 weeks to 4 weeks.
Yeah,
Our turnover is so high. So they don't have the turnover when we have our students go through our program. They don't, they're ready, they're
The
prepared.
students
pharmacists.
know what to expect
Yes.
and they
Yeah.
feel confident in what they're doing because they've had the training.
sure.
And then in most corporate settings, like they're hiring because they lost somebody. They do not, they want.
They don't
somebody-
have someone
they
that
don't
you
have
can-
somebody
Well,
ready
and
to
the
go.
other thing
Mhm.
that you
Okay.
can also put into this is that you've got a student standing there that's working and you can go, okay, I like this student and
Mhm.
I
in-
want to hire 'em.
I want to hire this one and I've got, 100 hours of free training to train them how I want them to do it. And then at the
On
end
my
of their
software.
training, I get to hire them and we are hitting the ground running and we are good.
Okay,
And that part is one of those things that they don't
okay.
see.
So you feel like the turnover is such that their employment is not, yeah, that's a word, is not a problem. Your students
Oh.
get employed
I have
there.
most of mine employed before they even graduate school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
that's the
they're
way
so
I know.
desperate.
If they want a
Looking
job,
for
they
a
get a
job,
job.
they are.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah,
those
the
that are taking-
pharmacists call a lot asking for.
Yes,
do we
yes.
have
It's like
anybody?
60% right now. We have a 60%.
But if they're
hiring
wanting
in
to go
Tulsa.
on to pharmacy school or
Mhm.
LPN
Sure.
school,
Right,
those
then
that aren't
they're-
looking for a
right.
job, then no,
No,
they aren't necessarily looking
Sure.
for a job. But
but even mine that are going on into school,
if they
they're,
want to work,
they're, if they
It's a
want to
great
work
part-time,
wherever they
yeah.
go, they're calling me and saying, hey, I got a job working at the
Yeah.
pharmacy down the street from my dorm.
Right,
So they're getting jobs out of the state even.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Sorry, did you notice, I don't know about the rest of us that aren't pharm tech teachers, did you notice the tone of voice elevated significantly
Yeah, I
during
know.
this? I think they feel passionately, so.
I
get
think you're
excited.
right.
Well, it just makes sense.
No, I love it. It does.
just
It
makes
totally makes sense.
I know. And for the state board to just say, no, it doesn't.
And that's the process, and that's the thing, is it does take a process. So I was asked, and this is kind of, I was asked yesterday, I'm trying to think where my, I was asked yesterday by name, Sky McNeil, from Oklahoma ACTE to be able to put, that's why I was researching the difference in the law and how it says that they can do clinicals in nursing, and compare it to what it says in the farm tech law. So anyway, that's why I had pulled both of those down, but it was like 5:30 last night. And I was like, okay, I'm taking all this, but I won't be able to get her the exact answer. And I won't be able to get her a great answer because nursing is extremely vague in their rules and regs, which is bizarre. You would think that theirs would be the most cinched up, and it's not. Again, well, from just working with LPNs, their program can be anywhere from 1,300 to 1,600 hours. And it's like, okay, well, but what do you want us to teach? Well, we're not going to tell you that. You just have to pass the test. Okay, good times. So, but one of the things that that she had talked about, and this is the representative, I think, that asked us not to go today.
Yes.
I'm gonna read her email just so it all makes sense. Let me find it, Sky. Okay, she said, Representative Lawson, does that
Yes,
sound
that's
right?
right.
Okay, is working to try and help get our farm tech students to be able to handle medications and actually work when they're doing their hours in the pharmacy instead of basically job shadowing and watching. He asked what language the nursing board uses to allow nursing students to go to hospitals and do clinicals. So I'm not sure that that's going to help us a bunch after I read through everything last night, but it does kind of all of this. So what I'm getting at with that whole distraction is I'd like for whatever we design to be helpful to our cause in getting this pushed through. I also, having whatever we end up doing, there will be a framework that we will be able to say, hey, these are the competencies they know. Which we already have a farm tech skill standards. It's called a study guide that they have at Career Tech that should list all of those things. They're redoing a lot of those right now. They haven't been touched in a very, very long time, but our hope is that that's going to be updated this year and so on. But I just want to make sure whatever we're doing is going to put us in a positive light. Not that anything is not going. Anyway, I just want to throw that out there that I think that's an issue. I have to step up and go get me some water because I'm fusty and there are lots of cords. So
Yeah, please don't
I'm
trip.
no, I won't trip. I'm doing this. Okay. So
Get it for you.
oh no, look, there's right there. See, I found a sink. Ha ha. So what do you think we should do from here?
I think we probably need to be pretty standardized in the number of hours of clinicals. I
Of
think that-
clinicals.
Of
I think that
intern-
makes
extern
sense. Yeah.
students. We all have the same number of hours. You said 100. You
We're doing,
guys,
currently doing 100 right now.
what do you do?
60, and it could be simulation, like
Ours is 30.
60. Mine can be simulated or actual.
Pioneers 30, okay. And just so, Pioneers is, we
I'm
have.
sorry, it's
some-
60. Sorry.
Say
It's
state
60.
minimum 60.
Okay,
I do 80.
and you do 80, okay. So it sounds
And
like
mine is the same as hers, simulated or,
your 80
Yes,
is
my 80.
simulated or otherwise, okay.
Mhm.
And again, these courses, you're not going to have to say, oh, it's got to be exactly what Career Tech put in the framework. If you want to know, this is what I've said, nobody is going to come to your location and sit over your shoulder and watch what you do every hour of every day to make sure you're following whatever curriculum plan is in the framework, okay? So either the aid or I'm sorry, it is aid, the aid or the tech we're not gonna do it, so you don't have to worry. Would we think that we would want to have, just because the only difference is adult or high school, do you think we would want to have the same number of clinical hours in the aid as we do in the tech?
Yes,
Okay,
I think so.
that
way
makes
we can get
sense to
them
me.
all
Everybody
there.
would be the same.
Yes,
Okay.
and we could say a minimum of 60 if that's everybody's, the
Yeah,
least anyone has.
that's what
state
everyone
minimum,
has.
then
I say, if we
Yeah.
just go with that, and then that way we can adjust, because it just
Right.
depends, like our pharmacists, if they
And-
do hands-on, they want more
Right,
hours. And they
right.
benefit more if they get
Right.
more. My students who get to do some stuff in pharmacies know the drugs way more than my other students that get to just observe. Because some
Right.
pharmacists let them do extra.
Yeah.
even behind-
Wink,
Yeah.
wink.
So I could tell a huge difference, because
Yes,
they know
And
those
that's going by the
drugs. Yeah.
wayside as those pharmacists get older and
And
retire.
it is,
that
the
were-
new ones are not,
Yes,
that's
they're
my last
terrified.
one.
They
Yeah.
won't let them touch it,
So.
but some will. And I have some pharmacists that'll say, that will just hire them for, bare minimum, and then they are considered a paid employee and let them work.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
good idea.
I haven't asked any to do that yet, so I don't know.
It's hard because they don't have the hours, just like with all the Walgreens, they don't have the hours to give our students hours, because it's all.
I'm
Yeah.
based on
curious,
Money.
what's in the Tulsa, the Owasso area, what is it like with private or, mom and pop?
Independence.
Thank you, that's the word I was looking for. I suppose it's not in the rules as mom and pop, right? That would be
It's called
done.
independence,
Okay.
yeah.
So what's your access to independent, or do you just prefer to send them to
Oh,
a
we have-
large one because that's where
Oh,
you
no,
you
No,
work?
we would love to send them to Independence, but a lot of Independence won't take our students, because they
Really?
can't do anything. Why am I gonna have
They-
somebody just stand there in my way?
And that's my independence that will
Yeah.
hire them for, basic low pay and let them work because they need them.
So yours is the opposite.
My
in a small-
independents will hire, but
yeah.
I have a lot of independents in
Ours-
Sapulpa
Right.
area.
Collinsville, Sky took, they won't hire them, but if they do hands-on, he said, we'll take them.
Yeah.
I do have Trummel, like I do still have some,
Some small-
Independence. I have some small ones.
I just didn't know if in
But
Tulsa they
a
could
mid-
even
Yeah.
stay alive with all the Walgreens.
And they don't, because they do get
CVS
bought
and all
out. I
that,
mean,
yeah.
we've bought out a lot.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had one in Sapulpa that got bought out and
Yeah.
like at 5 o'clock, they said, oh, by the way, we got bought out and we're done, and shut the doors at 5 o'clock.
We had two in Star, it just happened the same way.
Yeah. I mean, so it
Is that
is
where
going,
Charlie's?
No, Allen's and
Allen's.
Results.
When you get like kind of out like on the borders, so like right on
In
the
the more rural,
Coweta-
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
Coweta Broken Arrow line, you see a lot more independence.
yeah.
Yes, the little towns have independence and,
Mhm.
as you
that's
get
why my
in-
Sky took Collinsville, they have the
But
Independence.
see, I have problems getting my student into like the Walgreens or CVS.
Yeah, that's what I
because
thought in our town.
They can't keep a supervising pharmacist there long enough to even make anything stay because it's a rotating door.
So here's the deal with CVS. CVS, their contract is 14 days shadowing. If I can get my students hands-on,
Mm.
CVS wants our students, they want us to do hands-on because they can get they can do as many hours as they want. So it keeps us from out of being CVS because I don't want to send them for 14 days. That's too much.
Yeah.
So part of that too is that hands-on gets us into more pharmacies,
Yeah.
gets us into those independents, gets us into
And
CVS.
Walmart's the
So-
same way.
Okay.
Walmart won't take them unless,
Walmart won't take them unless they're ASHP accredited.
What is
some of
that?
the Walmarts.
That's the accreditation.
And that's the
A
accreditation
pharmacy.
that
It's in there.
costs $3,000 a year.
Okay,
and-
okay. That's what,
It doesn't
when I
mean-
started
yes,
this, is anyone
yes,
accredited?
yes,
That's the name of
yes.
it. Okay.
Yeah, but I would.
Initials.
Walmart is trying to
The
change that
agency
though.
thing.
Good.
Yeah.
'Cause I've
I've been,
tried.
I have two Walmarts that are saying they're trying to change that
Okay.
and take our
ASHP
students.
out. Mhm. If they just strike that.
So, so the pharmacies, because of this situation, of the law, they don't have any expectations for your students when they come to shadow, right? They just assume someone's gonna be standing there,
Taking up
shadowing.
space.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
taking up
Mhm.
space. Okay, standing in the way.
Mhm.
Okay, So, of the courses that, and I know Tulsa Tech, you have yours grouped a little differently. So I just want to make sure, I'm going to go back here and share this fun thing. Oops, ruh-roh. You know, I don't understand why, but apparently my computer thinks I need to know all this news crap. What is all this? I mean, all the time, every day. I'm like,
Paid
just
advertising. that
just
gets-
go away. We don't want you.
Alicia was.
Zoom there, share, and that.
I have another
Okay.
meeting that's about to start, so I'm gonna leave this on, but
Okay.
I'm gonna be muted, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, you all can see this now. I don't want, what we would probably do is see what the normal amount of time is for all these classes. I have it up. There's Central Tech, and I'm gonna ease on over here, maybe. Nope. Are you laughing at my inability to
This
drive?
says Central Texas is just 60 hours for your internship.
Does it?
Isn't
I
it
send
fun?
them for,
Here. Yeah, it says 60.
does it?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
okay,
that
though.
was the minimum. Yeah, I changed that. then.
So 60, okay, and Tulsa Tech's okay if we change that class to 60, knowing that you're still going to group your classes like you want and put the stuff in like you want, yes?
So we already have it embedded.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly, that's what I was
Mhm.
saying.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't say it that way, but that was a much smarter way to say it, Jamie. So that's one course. The other, is everyone doing cert prep? I'm just curious. Meridian, do
Yes,
you do
yes,
that?
mhm.
You do 30?
Yes.
We don't
And,
do that, and I think we need to add that.
well, that might help them pass.
Yeah, maybe that would help them pass. That's very good.
Hey,
Is she
what
with
you know?
Pioneer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember, and Pioneer and High Plains are not taught by someone with a pharmacy or farm tech background.
Right.
They are a healthcare professional that's doing 2 or 3 different careers in their class. So yeah, they got lots of different things going, but in that situation, they may use a more, and I don't know this, Kendra, but they might use a more prepackaged kind of curriculum. Like, I don't know if NHA has a curriculum for farm tech. I think
Mhm,
they
They
do.
do, they do.
Yeah.
And they have a set,
Yeah.
just a study guide curriculum that you could do if you're not using the rest of theirs.
Oh,
They have a separate study guide curriculum that you can purchase.
did you hear that, Kendra?
Yes, I'm writing that down.
Write that down. NHA, National Health Career Association. And
And
that and the PTCB were the 2 assessments that they
And,
said that
uh,
everyone's doing.
We
Paradigm
do
has that as
PTCB,
well.
but we don't have many that, I mean, like single.
PTCB
digit.
is a tough test.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Paradigm
Paradigm
has
has a book
has a
also.
book. It's the certification exam review, and they have, with that, they have exam tests.
Who was that?
with it.
It's EMC Paradigm is the name of the company. If you need contact information for those,
yeah.
if you look on our CTU page, we have, and that it may actually be on our website too, a publishers and resource personnel. And we keep a list of who all the sales reps are.
Okay, yeah, we will look into that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. So I think a lot of your courses are actually very similar. We talked about AMP, we talked about removing AMP. And so it kind of, I got positives all the way across, and we got to, Kendra said that that your teacher's going to do it the first year anyway, or first semester if it's an adult, right?
Right.
And they're teaching it anyway because they have other careers that they're teaching that may
Yes.
require that.
Yes.
So, so we may take that out now. And midterm, you said no, and you all say, you two
Yes,
say
I do.
yes, that you do it.
If we, I don't know.
I'm not trying to take
Right,
everything
no,
out. I'm just
I'm
trying
just
to
saying,
get a grip.
Dustin would really like to put me in with our health careers rotation.
Mhm.
So if we took out the anatomy, CPR and midterm and they did that
Mhm.
another semester, that could be an option. My students could come to
Mhm.
me 2 semesters, probably
Mhm.
the 480 or whatever we're
Yep.
looking at less. And then they could do that 1 semester and that would give them 1 other option.
Mhm.
And that would be the rotation he would like.
Right? Is that what you like? You
Doesn't
don't
matter
care.
to me, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, we kind of have everyone's thoughts on it. I don't know. Like I said, it does, if we put it in and you say have, okay.
Well-
Is there anything overall that you would like to change just based on looking at your framework on what you all offer? And if you'd like, I can get the
I think
skills
this
list out.
document would have been handy to have in advance.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And we're
just
not
to-
done either.
right,
Whatever
but to
we come up
compare
with today.
What other
Mhm.
programs have to see to go,
Yep.
okay, well, how could we maybe, what options?
Yeah.
I probably should have made sure my boss was gonna be around and not on an airplane today. I think he would have,
Enjoyed the conversation.
he would have, but it would have been knowledgeable and it would make it easier for him and I'd have follow-up conversations.
Yeah.
Is there any way we could get this printed? Like, could they make copies for us?
Oh, I'm sure that they wouldn't mind. Deja.
Deja.
Yeah, or Carmen.
But maybe we could have just a
Yeah.
a copy so
Well,
we can kind of make.
Well, you know what? I mean, I don't know about, we can email this to you right now. You can have this
Yeah.
document and see what everyone's doing. And the first page of it, which was what all the possible courses was. And so like, one thing that's weird we're looking at this list and when we got down here to the farm tech and sterile procedures 1 and 2, that's Tulsa Tech's and theirs is 200 and
It's
40,
everything
yeah.
after the core, 120, everything else is 120 after that, and they should not all be 120.
Right.
This is what CTIMS automatically generates. That's not
Right.
what we've put in. So that's what I'm saying is though all the possible courses, that is just what is currently in there will auto generate. That's not what it's set at for anybody. That's not what anybody submitted this year.
Oh,
This is all the possibilities of what CTIMS thinks. Like if you're going in to put a program in, this is everything that pops up. So
okay.
this is not what's been put in by schools. This is what
Okay,
CTIMS
okay,
is
okay.
generating. So we can say, okay,
Gotcha.
obviously this looks wrong. So if we wanted to automatically generate a different number, then we can go ahead and put that into framework that way.
Okay.
So that is what CTIM spits out at me if I'm like, hey, if I want to put in a farm tech program, what is
Okay,
it gonna give me?
gotcha.
So that's what it
Gotcha.
is.
Okay, thank you. So it looks like we had that we have some agreement on cert prep and internship as far as kind of a minimum on those, and that's right there in our list that I'm showing right now. We've got professional skills. Core is not something that I'm going to put in for everyone. I'll take anatomy and physiology out if and we can.
So basically, I don't know, I guess I'm confused.
Okay.
So right now there's 2 different SIP and
Mhm.
SOC codes for an aide and for a tech. And
But I'm
one's-
most everything's gonna look exactly the same, except one of them is going to be 525 and the other's gonna be 600.
Okay,
And what we'll do is we'll probably put that extra 75 hours into, because it'll just be easiest, we'll probably put it into the internship or something. Is that not the easiest thing to put it into? What would you like us to put it into? I guess it
I'm
doesn't
sorry,
really
I
matter.
Did not hear anything you just said.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, my brain went.
So
Good.
basically, we're still keeping the same hours. We're just trying to shuffle them if we take out the anatomy.
Right. I'm trying to give you, if you don't want the anatomy in
Okay.
there and you would like it,
I think I would like it to shift to prep and pharmacy tech terminology.
okay.
So 60 to prep and
So
60 to
Would you do your drugs under your pharmacy technology?
terminology.
Terminology?
Mhm.
Okay. Because that's not really, mine's more of abbreviations and stuff is what my objectives are.
Okay.
So my drugs go more under the pharmacology.
Our drugs are-
Pharmacology
our
for,
drugs are under pharmacology.
for PhD,
Mm-hmm.
or that's just one of the courses that I
Yeah.
see sitting here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as long as we redistribute, and here's what the plan is, okay? I
Okay.
know you're like, okay, now it's 11 o'clock and you're still yapping, Laura. Yes, I am. But we're about to be done with Laura yapping. We've told all of our groups is that we wanted to hear the conversations, to make some decisions, and then to sit down to draft something out, and then to share it back with the entire team. Anyone who would like to see it, if you want to have another hour-long Zoom meeting that we can do, sometime between now and the middle of October, we can try and, once you've seen it and been able to process it and went, okay, I think they've got it, or no, this is, all because protesting is how things get changed. Okay. Silence is acceptance that's my favorite line for any of these kinds of meetings. If you don't say anything, then it's going to be done to you.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather you tell us what we need to do instead of us just making crap up. The difference between, I'd love to hear the difference between the high school and adults, the 525 and the 600. What is it? That's the one I was saying, if we added 75 hours somewhere and not like spread, is that like something that they would be doing more in a clinical setting or an externship? And again, let's think of where we want to go with this,
Right.
not necessarily
right.
where it is right
If
now.
we got that, I would say yes. I would love to add more hours to that. But if it's still going to be standing around doing nothing, then no, I don't want to add it there.
Okay. I'm confident that we're going to be able to get that changed.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I really am. I don't think anything, the boards are all there to protect the public. And as long as there is nothing that is going to cause the public harm, that's why I understand why they didn't want us to show up in mass today. I get that. But at the same time, the legislative session opens up, rules and regs are being done,
Right.
and
But
it
it's more
has
of
to
a-
be approved as part of the legislative process. So we've got to get whatever edits
But
need to
it's-
be done and put it in and get it passed before May.
But it's more of a board decision,
It
not a
is.
legislative.
Well, yes
decision.
and no, but if it goes in the rules, those rules are still approved by the legislature.
Oh,
See, I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
I know. I
Okay.
didn't know how
Yeah.
that was.
Okay.
So that's why she's talking to the representative and he's
Okay, 'cause
saying,
I thought we were kind of skipping the chain of
No,
command.
no.
Okay,
No,
because
we're
I
not
thought
gonna
we were
skip.
really gonna make them mad that we were kind of skipping over them instead of trying to, okay.
I still believe that going to the board is the most important thing for them to hear from you, to see you and hear from you.
And I think the next meeting is in November.
But we need to have our stuff together
Right.
and our explanation, and even, tell them, in preparation,
Yes.
we have added 75 hours of experience for our adults.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Well, you don't have to say it if
Yeah.
you don't want, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if they know that we've had the foresight to be talking through
Mhm.
how this can help you, the pharmacist.
Yes.
This isn't about us. This
Yeah.
is, we're helping you,
Yeah.
right? You got to put it back on them and make it
Yes.
there.
Yes.
It's
This
something
is
that's,
a win for them and yes,
yeah.
pharmacies and the people everywhere.
yes, right.
But the board has, you have to notify them 10 days in advance if you want to speak at the board.
Okay.
meeting. And they can deny you, and that's where they denied me.
Okay.
They wouldn't even let me speak.
Well, and let me just, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but this is also a lot of, many times they will, and not saying they won't deny me as well, but if you have someone that's representing all the programs
Mhm.
Yes.
at our career techs across the state, or you have one individual teacher, that sometimes is the difference
Right.
in
And that's
being
what they
able
said,
to,
basically.
you know what I
Be
mean?
by
So,
yourself.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So-
She was by herself even
Yeah.
though she wasn't.
Even
She
though I
was-
had
right.
everybody's names, but
But
they're
that's
like,
what they used
"Nah."
it as.
They just said the board wouldn't pass anything like that, no hands-on.
Yeah, well, and the
So
thing is
now
too,
we're-
gee, does anyone know
Right.
anyone on the board?
Yes, I knew the director. I worked with him.
Okay,
He's the one that shot me down.
the executive director?
Yeah, Marty Hendricks.
Okay,
Yeah, he worked at Walgreens. And
okay.
he's like, no, Krista, the board's not gonna pass
Well, and
that.
that was the other thing is that one of the pharmacists in Sapulpa, she had been offered to be on the board and she turned it down. And then when I started my program, she was like, dang it,
Yeah,
I should have done it. I should have done it. And I was like,
The board
Yes, you
members
should.
are all usually hospital or independent owners.
okay.
So that's where we
Uh.
get, when they see the chains getting stuff,
Yeah.
they get mad.
Well, of
And they think
course.
we're just loading up on the chains. And, they're
And
getting all
this
the
is gonna
stuff.
help the independent, I see this helping the independents more
does,
than it would help.
But
the-
that's not how the board. So.
Well,
hopefully
so
we'll
they
make
have
the
a chip on their
changes.
shoulder
Yes,
too.
they do.
Okay,
It's
And
The-
it's well known. against
off
all
the
their states.
record. The Board of Pharmacy is traditional old white men,
sure.
Mhm.
old school.
old school.
Sure.
We're not, it's working, why change it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what, and just, this is before we, and we'll talk about all this again before we go in front of them, but to have curriculum resources available to be able to show, this is what we're doing, this is how we're teaching, pass them around. I mean, they need, if they can see and touch and realize it's not a TV screen they're spending 10 hours in front of, just having an orientation video, because it is it's the three big ones that are, it's the CVS, the Walgreens, and the Walmart, that are, their training programs are probably, I'm going to assume that they are more automated than what you would be teaching, right?
Yes,
Oh,
they're
it's all
sitting in front of a
automated.
computer.
Yeah.
Computer,
So,
click, click,
yeah,
click,
click, click.
next.
So, and they probably know that. So if they can see all the content, if we can show them, this is what all we teach, this is how many hours we're investing in each one of these things. If you have any prerequisites for your class, if you have any, standards of, you know what I'm saying,
Maybe
If-
even invite them to
our
our
programs.
programs.
Yeah.
That might be. a
But,
good-
and maybe we go introduce all this and then say, we have programs in these areas and we would love for board members, before you make a decision, to come and visit, come see what we have. Because I think it would blow them away if they could see your labs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They would have no.
If they walk in and they see, oh, it's a pharmacy.
Yeah.
Oh my, this looks just like my pharmacy.
Oh,
I think it would change a lot. Now, so this is just how, if I were telling anyone how to prep for going in front of a board, that these are the things I think we need in place. I think we need a curriculum model. I think we need our resources and to share. I think we need to be able to explain And if we need to put a handout together with all these things that they can take with them and absorb,
That's why I
that'd be
sent them that
great.
skills
I think we
checklist.
need to
I sent
Skills
them all that.
checklist,
sent
if
them
they
all.
had.
We need to have
exactly.
a planning meeting before the next board.
Right. But I think we can finalize what we come up with on this stuff at that same meeting. That's all I'm getting
So I
at.
have another question. So the way that Meridian has it broken down, this is kind of what you had broken down on your,
Because they at one time were one of our only programs. And so you were
So-
the only program, I think.
Tulsa Tech started first.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
is
Kristen,
this how you
Masters.
want our?
Is it
our-
how I want? I don't care.
I mean, it was kind of what we went by and my,
So how we came up with these things, so that original list that you looked at, right?
yes,
So
yes,
how we came up
this.
with those original courses, those are probably very similar to what's on
That's
here.
exactly what she
So,
has on
and this is
hers.
why, because we took the skill standards list from the Farm Tech, the Oklahoma Farm Tech, Career Tech study guide. It's called a study guide, which I hate that, but it's basically your blueprint. And everything that was a duty area or a topic area that techs learn, that was considered a course. Does that make sense? So
Uh-huh.
that's how we broke it down, and that's why we broke it down and so on. So it wasn't, because we didn't, when we first did this, we did everything off of either national, so the CPT, or the.
I was gonna say
C-
ASHPs used to recommend a 600-hour program. I think if you went to their website, it was really similar kind of to this. I think is probably where originally it came from.
So we
Do
were.
you remember
so-
that?
So we just put together what the national standards and the Oklahoma standards said, this is what because those skill standards are created by talking to pharmacists and farm techs. And they say, this is what I do in a day. This is what I do in a week. This is what we do in a month. This is what's the most important skills that we know how to do. We do this every day and it's critical. Then that's the most important thing, right? So there's a formula kind of to how we put all that stuff together, and that's what we use to come up with these. So
Okay.
it seems as though we were just blowing in the air, but I promise
Well,
that's
no, I
but
just
my
was
staff,
thinking like
that's how we
15
came up with
hours,
them.
15
Yeah.
hours, 15.
And,
And so
and
I
we went
was
by that's 1 hour of college credit to that. Everything we did at that time was based on 15s, unless it was something stupid like nurse aid that had 75 hours and we could, you know what I mean? And that one got broke down really stupid. So just ignore that.
Okay.
That'll be gone, trust me.
Okay.
But that's where it came up like that. It's not because I think it's the right thing. It's because it was like, well, how many you think we should do on that? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we would have summer conference things and say, get you with your group. If there's anything you want to change, let me know. And no one ever wanted to change. So we just left it like that for years. So, but thanks for asking. That is how we came up with the stuff and so it doesn't mean that it's more important or not. It's just completely how skill standards were broken down.
Okay.
And so Tulsa Tech, you guys went away and created your own 2 courses just so you could determine. So do you have it broke down within that as to how many hours kind of each area, those areas are?
We have it
Yep.
broken down between lecture. Do you have more copies? Of
Oh,
those?
yeah.
So basically what we did, because of course our LMS as well, we didn't want to have so many grade books, is we basically.
That would be awesome.
We just
Nice.
combined courses.
Yeah.
So we didn't drop any of our standards or competencies. We
You
just
just
rolled them
combined them.
into, we just
Yes.
combined them and rolled them into one course per semester.
Which I'm okay with doing that.
That's
That would make things a
nice.
lot easier than having 15 different courses.
Now, well, and that's fine. I just want, when people look at it, I want I want that pharmacy board to be able to see what's being cut, you know, what's
Right.
intuitive. And that's the one thing I like about
Right, that's true
the
too.
smaller courses is just, it's like, there's no doubt what's being taught in that class. Where if whenever you have to put it together, you know, it just makes it a little more difficult because it's way more than what those 2 words are on there, or those 4 words for the course title. You
Yeah.
guys are doing way, way, way more. So, it doesn't matter if that's what you guys want, we can do that. I think regardless, we need to have main competencies broken out if you do decide you just want the 2 courses. But if we need to have the main competencies broken, I still think before we go before the board, we need to have that broken down, because I think they need to see it, especially old school. They're, you know, to them, it would be like, well, this doesn't show they're doing it. You know,
Right.
we know better that you are doing
Yeah, that's why we
a
have a skills
ton.
competency checklist.
Right.
So, yes.
Exactly.
It shows exactly what
Every
they can
skill,
be,
everything.
what they're prepared to do,
Right.
and they have to check off
Yeah.
before they graduate.
So I think we could put together a little, you know, 3 or 4 page document that we could send ahead. And this is what we would like to talk to you about. And I just think that it's, the more we do on the front end, the better our results will be on the back end. And I mean, I've been to the dental board, I've been to the cosmetology board. You want a scary dang board.
Yeah, they are scary.
Ooh, they are scary. The board of nursing, and they're pretty intimidating too. But we, you know, there's some that are just, and there's a lot of people that like to make you think they're really important because they're a board member. And so, you know, they kind of think they're like Congress members grilling someone in front of a camera on C-SPAN or something. So, but I think the more we can have ahead, the better we'll be. So out there, let's see, Carrie and Denise and Kendra has disappeared, but I see your little face. Does any, no, you can, oh, no, I knew where you were. You didn't have to come back, Kendra. But if you guys, what comments do you all have, and how do the people not in this room feel right now?
Are they awake?
They're awake. I can see all of their faces.
They're just patiently waiting. They want to all be jumping on everyone
There you go.
else.
Carrie has
I'm-
unmuted.
Did you introduce yourself? I don't know. She didn't introduce herself, but this is our instructor. She's new this year. This is Becca Cook. And so she knows way
Hey.
more than I do, I'm sure, even though she's been here for 2 months.
What'd she say? Not
She-
not pharmacy tech?
Not pharmacy yet. Next semester.
Okay. So Carrie, do you think that this is an okay plan?
I do, and I appreciate the flexibility and for the 525 template for us. And I do think that while I understand the need for consistency across the state and as a system, I totally agree with the project that as a system, we need to be united. And I get that and I understand it, and we're part of that. But you know, we are united, but we can still kind of have a couple of different templates maybe in the system that will help us out. So I
Yeah.
do appreciate you very much and your flexibility on that. So that's all for
Well,
me.
you're gonna hate me when medical assisting comes, because I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I already told everyone that you're evil for making that meeting when you're not gonna
We'll
be
work
there.
through
But
it.
it's just,
Totally didn't
it's totally sip and sock. And there, we have for years taken multiple careers and put them together, and there's just not necessarily you all, but I'm just saying across the whole thing, to make things the best for our students, you know, to be able to give them the most financial aid, to be able to do the most things for the most people. And yeah, it makes this stuff really hard when you've done that. But yeah, Okay, and Kendra, you guys are cool, and Denise, you're just nodding because Carrie, she's giving us the thumbs up, okay? And, anyone in here, thoughts, concerns?
It's recorded, so Dustin will get to sit. and
It
watch this
is
whole thing for
recorded.
3
He's gonna
hours,
love
so-
hearing my voice for 3 hours. Yes. Feel bad for all these other people that have to do it day after day after day. She keeps talking. It is a real challenge, we want to be respectful of everyone and what you all do, but still meet our goals, what we're having to do. So anyway, we will have two different, just like it currently is listed, we will have two different state program name, not state program names. It will be Pharmacy Services is our state program name. The local name will be Pharmacy Technician and Pharmacy Aide. And from those, we'll probably just have one course that's different, and or just add hours into one course on the tech side. Okay. But so if you look at Farm Tech and Farm Aid, they're probably going to be identical, except for one will be 75 hours longer. Okay.
Now, is there a problem, since I have mixed high school and adults,
Mhm.
that I have two career majors? That my high school students could be enrolled in pharmacy aid and my adults could be enrolled in pharmacy tech?
Yes, ma'am. Completely fine.
So like if we decided they needed some anatomy or something, we could make it the same, but I could
Uh-huh.
make a pharmacy anatomy that's 75 hours.
Right. You can call it whatever you want. Yeah. Anatomy for
Why
farm.
not
tech.
just enroll them all in Farm Tech? Sorry.
Why
why
can
do
you
you-
not just enroll them all in Farm Tech?
We can.
You
I
can.
just, in case for some reason they decided that the high school students can't really be doing a 600-hour program. If something comes down in the future, I'm just trying to understand.
Gotcha.
Anything else? How do you feel, new teacher?
Overwhelmed?
No, it's exciting to see the back end because I saw it as a student.
Ah,
So-
yes. How long ago were you a student?
I graduated 2011.
Okay.
So, and I actually had Miss Lemaster for 2 weeks. before
Oh,
she went to London. But
she's a hoot.
yeah, so it's interesting to see like what all goes into the planning on the back end and what you guys are really, and now me, striving
Yeah.
for
And now
our
me.
students. So that was the biggest like aha,
Uh-huh.
and just kind of like the breakdown of what all it takes to get a class together.
Yeah.
And some legal jargon that I did not know. I know.
Well, I am not the legal expert. I've been in a lot of meetings in my lifetime.
That's why I love our ICs to help explain that to
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Downstream was like,
So
"No,
we can
it's right
focus
here."
on the class.
Yeah, yeah, you will,
Yeah.
but I do think, I think it's a solid plan too. I think, and I don't see, look, but I never believe, I'm sorry, this is a girl had cancer throughout her whole body. I'm like, what do you mean? We're gonna kick this, but we're gonna win. They're gonna do what we want them to because we said so.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
just need to be positive and think, no, this is gonna work. I mean, and why
Yes.
wouldn't it? I mean, it's the right thing to do. So,
Yes,
yes.
that's exactly right.
Exactly. So we're gonna get it all taken care of, and from now on, our students will have no worries when it comes to that. And I don't blame God. I would be dying if I just had to
Yeah.
stand
They
there.
don't want to
they
go
don't wanna
very
go.
long.
Yeah.
So
No.
mine, do as much simulation as we can and send them as little
Yeah,
just because of that,
yeah. Okay. Well,
which is not what they want either.
right. So this is what I'm gonna tell you. What we're going to put in the framework is going to be more clinical hours. You're going to freak out about that because you don't want to send them right now in this situation. But I firmly believe that we are going to get that changed. And when that happens, it's already going to be lodged in there and they're going to be happy to go and excited. So,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay.
Well,
that
Pep Club, we are done for this morning.
Yay.
Woo!
Yay.
Another one checked off the list. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you, everybody's time and effort.
Thanks.
I'm going to shut this puppy off. End.